So let's continue on. So I'm going to go to File, Set Project. I'm going to find that Pliers project, hit Open, and then File, Open Scene. If you set your project to the correct folder, you should see your Pliers 003. That's where we left off. Hitting Open, don't save, continue. So when we left off last, we had this extruded out, so we're getting ready to where we're going to put the kind of cylinder on there. We tested some things last round, but I wasn't very happy with what we ended up with. But before we do that, let's just extrude off this little bit of the back piece. And it's going to sort of have the same philosophy of how we covered this up here. In fact, we might even be able to, so now that I'm looking at it, this is the side that extrudes down for this. So let me hide this and walk you guys through it. So Control H to hide. So you can see where this line is cut, and this piece goes forward, and this line is cut, and this piece comes down and back. So this squared out spot and this squared out spot both happen on the part that I'm modeling. Shift H unhides the last hidden. I'm sorry, Control Shift H unhides the last hidden. So we're going to want to bring this piece extruded down. So I'm going to take this edge and extrude that guy out. Bring this vert to here, because you can see it rounds a bit more. It's not as like straight or as straight cut in as what we're seeing over here. And this is just based on what I can see from the reference. I'm going to take these edges. Actually, I'm going to take these edges and extrude them down. So I hit W, I extrude down a little bit. I'm going to hit R to sort of straighten these out. I'm going to take these two edges, extrude, hit W, bring these out, straighten them out just like I did below. And I want to snap onto this vert, so I'm going to hold down D and V, or let's hit W first. I'm going to hold down D and V, grab from the center, and snap right on that pivot. I'm going to hold down V with this handle grab and snap those together. Now if you select just these two vertices, shift right click and let's merge to center. And now I have those vertexes merged. Now let's take this edge and let's extrude down. The same thing, hold down V and snap it to here. Now I can merge those together. So I'm going to select those two verts, shift right click, merge to center. And again, the only reason this really works is because I have nothing below it. So if this was like a box and there were verts on the kind of the back side and I didn't have just a flat plane, that's where this really wouldn't work, what I'm doing right now. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of even out the spacing a bit here. So I'm just going to move it so these edges are a little bit more evenly spaced. Oops. And get ready for that next extrude. I'm going to select these guys. I'm going to extrude down. Just pull that straight down. I'm going to go a little bit inside this pliers. And let's insert an edge loop kind of halfway in between. If we want to be exact, don't forget you can grab that poly split ring we just did and put 0.5 in there. Select it in object mode. Let's look at it in kind of perspective view. We're getting something pretty good. We're also starting to kind of get some evenly spaced, faces through here. So notice how neat and kind of tidy everything looks. Except through here, we have these big long polygons. I already know it's matching the reference fairly well. So let's go ahead and kind of put some more in here. So I'm going to go to the Insert Edge Loop options, go to Multiple Edge Loops, and let's put 2 in here. So let's put 3. I'm just trying to match that evenness going down. So 3 worked pretty good there. This is probably twice as much as before, so let's use 6. That looks pretty even, and let's go back to 3. Actually, let's go back to the options box for that and just change it back to relative. You don't have to do that, but relative is probably the setting I use most. Alright, now that we have more edges to work with, I'm going to select these vertices, hold down DV, snap to the end, hit R, and scale those until they start matching the reference. So DV, snap to right there, scale it to match the reference. I'm going to go all the way through here. So whenever you add more detail, your goal is to get it to match the reference before you move on. Otherwise, things become a lot more complicated down the road. So again, just holding down D and V, snap those vertexes, move it in a bit. There we go. And that's where it tapers maybe a bit more straight. Let's jump to this view, and we can see it starts to kind of move down here. So I'm going to select everything through here, and let's use rotate. So D and V, let's move it to this as our pivot point. And now if I start rotating this down, I can just sort of deselect the last one, hold down D and V, go to my new kind of pivot point. Just rotate it down. We're just getting a bit more precision by doing it this way. And that looks pretty good. Maybe just move these two a little bit. Let's go to my object mode. Alright, so now we're pretty much getting everything formed up for where we want to put that cylinder in. Maybe where this stuff all gets extruded down. Again, we're going to do to the halfway point and then mirror this. So let's test an extrude down next before we add in kind of the cylinder shape to the nose of this pliers.